Hey guys, we're here on episode 78. Have you ever wondered how we make websites? Well, I got the whole team here and we're gonna tell you how. All right guys, we are all here. This is our annual meeting. We get the team together, most of the team, as much of the team as possible, together once a year. So thanks for being here. And thought we'd go a little bit different on this episode, episode 78. And we're actually talking about, with everybody here, I thought, you know what the best thing to do, this was actually my idea. I thought it was a great idea and I have the best ideas.
Brilliant.
Was let's talk about how we build websites. Because it takes a lot of people and it takes a lot of steps to build websites, and sometimes it's very hard to get across in just like here's 5 simple steps to an awesome website, you know. So I thought we'd do that and kind of give everybody an inside look into the process. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
I love it.
Well, Caroline, we're going to start with you. Before anything on the site starts, really what we're trying to do is understand the client first. And so how do we get inside their head to create a site that's really exclusively them?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things that we do is the brand creator process. So that's a series of exercises that a practice will complete, usually their whole team. And it kind of gives us a little bit about the story before we met them, kind of their vision for the future, and kind of how they want to be seen by their patients. So that helps build the brand, it helps, give them a voice through their website, and kind of like build everything out from there.
Yeah. And we built another tool this year called our Style Discovery Guide. Janet, why do we develop that? How does it help us get to know them even more?
So we developed it so we could let them kind of pick and choose the visual elements that they like to see incorporated into their website or branding. It allows us to better understand the client's aesthetic or design preferences, so they can go online and actually pick, oh, I like these fonts or these colors, and that way it takes the confusion out of it for us. Or it also allows them to choose, like if they wanted us to do the whole thing and pick out everything, they have that option too, to give us that free way.
And all this really is to lock down on their brand. Ratcliffe, why is that so important from the start?
Well, I mean, the brand is where everything starts from. You have to have a strong brand. I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy, and I kind of, you take a train, and all these cars on the train, but without the brand is the locomotive that pulls all the website, pulls all the stationery, pulls everything. So that's why everything is following behind the brand.
Wow.
Whoa. Trains, man.
Dude. He's dropping metaphors.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Heavy stuff right there.
I'm jumping on that train.
Let's train up and get on.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody else, just be ready. Okay, Jeff, you're up.
I'm on this train. I'm going to fall right in.
Nobody's allowed on my train. Get off my train.
So all the while, photography is being scheduled. Why is this one of the most important pieces?
I'm going to jump on Ratcliffe's train because we have to. So we back up a little bit. The first thing that has to happen is content, and it's in any level in this whole system. It's got to be something pretty good, and it's got to be something organic, and it's got to be something that's exclusively that client.
Yeah.
And so that's where photography comes in. Is we're going, instead of just pulling stock photography all over the place or trying to figure out, why don't we just create it?
Yeah.
It's a whole lot easier. Just get it scheduled, give it some attention, let's set it up, and let's just make it. Let's go. So anyway.
So we start getting all these pieces together for the brand. The storyline starts to develop. The direction starts to make itself clear. Then we kick it over to you, Carl. How do you approach the copywriting process for a website?
Well, first thing, I take the brand and then I go back actually to the brand creators.
Yeah.
And I look at all the phrasing that's going on in there. I look at notes from client interviews, that sort of thing, and I take all of that. And my goal is real simple. I want to communicate the voice of the practice. And I don't want to just communicate information. I want people to feel what
Yeah.
this practice is about. It is beautiful what we do in terms of graphically beautiful. I want the words to align with that beauty so that when people land at a site, they're like, man, I get what this practice is about. I get the tone, I get the feel. I'm just not understanding, hey, they do this, they do that, they do this. You know, it's way more than that. It's like, man, I just get a sense of what this practice is about, who they are,
Yeah.
what they're passionate about.
Yeah. So so at this point in the process, really that half of it is collecting the pieces, right? I mean, it's photography, it's copywriting, it's brand preferences and brand creator and all those things. But then at this point, everything gets delivered to you, Ratcliffe, as we start to develop the design of the site. How do you kind of like dump all the pieces to you? How do you start to work through design?
Well, I mean, initially it's literally I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at Carl's copy. I'm looking at Jeff's photography, and then we have the brand. And literally it starts with I pull out my pencil and paper and start sketching.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this element can go here. This element can go here. It starts with a wireframe.
So that's half of it. The other half of that becomes the development side,
Right.
Because you can design some stuff, and now we got to make it work and function. And so, Joe, you come in on that. We this isn't a single step process. I mean, it's a multi-step process.
Completely.
Tell us about that, and why do we approach it that way instead of just going, hey, here's your website?
Yeah, well, I mean, we always start with just the homepage, and I think that's critical, so that the client can see something other than like, here's the whole thing, I hope you liked it. So it's like, here's this one really big first step so you can see the work, make sure you love it, make sure we are thinking the same thing you're thinking, because this is really the first time they get to see all the pieces come together. You know,
Yeah.
they've seen the photos, sometimes they've read the copy, but this is like, everything all together. So it just makes a lot of sense for us to do that first, get that to the client for approval, and when they love it, then we move on and we create all the inside of the site.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Caroline, as a project manager, we've created inspection points for our team. They're kind of internal. Tell us about those. Why are those important to this process?
Yeah, well, kind of going off what Joe mentioned, there's so many details that come into place, and sometimes the client doesn't see all those details, and so I think it's really important that when somebody does their job, Carl has some copy or you get photography done, that there's another set of eyes that kind of go over that and double check it, because it's easy to get caught up in those little things and forget the big picture. So that's kind of my job,
Yeah.
is to go and inspect those individually, but also look at the big picture and make sure that that's fitting, that it flows and it makes sense.
All right, guys, as you can see, the conversation's still going on, and I don't want to cut you out at any of it, but this episode's getting long. Jay Moore's looking at me like we got to cut. So tell you what, why don't we come back, do a second episode, episode 79. We'll continue the conversation and wrap up all the loose ends before we end this topic. Okay, I'll see you there.